Welcome back to another Grow Big Initiative actionable video to help you grow your sales across multiple channels and geographies. We're checking in with Alex Crawford from Payoneer, talking all things cross-border payments as it pertains to marketplaces. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Of course, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Alex, tell us exactly what is the payment journey for a cross-border seller when you've got a consumer purchasing a product in an overseas market on a marketplace? How does it get to my U.S. bank account?
Essentially, the customer would purchase whatever product they decided to from your store. After that purchase is made through a credit card or local payment method, it is processed and settled by the marketplace account or the third party that's associated with them. That then, before the money is sent to your account, the marketplace would deduct commissions before transferring to the seller. A lot of the times in these commissions would be fees for currency conversion or other hidden, kind of transfer fees as well. From that point, it gets to your account. So, three separate steps there. Then once you have the funds, you're obviously able to use them however you may be, pay suppliers, advertising, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so that's the full flow. How does Payoneer play into that? What's the value proposition for a merchant?
Yeah, I think essentially where we play in is we can generate virtual bank accounts in really any currency. So no matter where you're selling in the world, whether you're selling on Mercado Libre, if you're selling on Amazon the UK, wherever it may be, we'll generate a bank account in that local currency. So instead of having the 2 or 3 steps that I had mentioned, essentially you would connect our virtual bank account to your marketplace store, and once the funds come in that local currency, they'd be loaded into your Payoneer account, and from one place you'd be able to log in. Again, see everything converted into your local currency, dispense it to your business bank account, or again, send it to suppliers, pay for advertising, pay local VAT, taxes, et cetera, et cetera.
That's actually really key. You talked about it very quickly, but let's just pause for a second. What you're saying here is that if I'm making money overseas from sales on a marketplace, Payoneer will help me bring it back, but they will also let it sit in a way to reuse in that marketplace. So I don't actually have to process it to bring it back. And traditionally merchants look at things like, hey, I've got money coming in from all these sales. I'm going to bring it into the US, let's say, and then I'll start reallocating it maybe to an overseas digital marketing, overseas for sourcing. But in this case, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, so that in itself will save you a lot of time and energy, right? Because a lot of sellers will have to go to their bank to pay a wire to their supplier in China for $60, $70. They'll have to go through the VAT authority in the UK, and double convert their money to make sure that they're paying it correctly. They'll have to, again, go through Amazon or a third party to pay their advertising, for example. That's the nice thing about this is that everything in Payoneer, everything comes into one place, and you can reappropriate these funds however you want. Again, saving on wire fees, saving on payment fees, saving on conversion fees, all of that in one place, but making it a lot easier and a lot cheaper for the business owner.
That's really cool. It's also cool because obviously Payoneer has a very wide scope. So you can have a dashboard, as you're saying, and then you see the money flows across many different countries and currencies. Whereas if you work with, let's say, there's a number of companies that'll do it, like let's say just for China, or just for LATAM, or just for Europe. But you're talking about this dashboard. Can you say that a little bit more about that?
Yeah, essentially you would get a login with us. You could log in. It's called My Account on Payoneer. You'd be able to see all the different accounts that you have active. So if it's the USD account, a CAD account, a GBP account, whatever it may be, you'd have all those accounts active. All the money would be coming into those. Again, you can swap currencies, you can convert currencies, et cetera. Whatever it may be. I think a lot of sellers are using our service to pay their suppliers in China. Obviously, a lot of sellers source out of China, so we make that very easy as well and cost effective. So yeah, so a big reason why sellers like us, especially when selling internationally, is not only can we save you money, but having everything in one place and not having to go 5 or 6 different places to get these things done is super advantageous and allows you to put some of this time back into running the business effectively.
The case of Mercado Libre, you can actually put your own bank account in if you're a U.S. merchant into their system, or you can use a Payoneer solution. What is exactly the challenge or the problems, let's say, with putting your own bank account in there?
I mean, I think it really just comes down to cost. And, again, the money is going through a few different kind of steps before it gets to your personal bank account. We cut that out being that we have that, again, we have the direct account, a virtual account that we can set up in the local currency. So it would basically just be like someone selling in the U.S. and getting it deposited into a U.S. bank account. But we set it up so you can generate these accounts really anywhere in the world and have the money very seamlessly go into a local account like you would, again, in your home country or whatever it may be. So we cut out a lot of the kind of the noise and the costs, and we make it a lot easier because everything is kind of natively done through our virtual bank account system.
That's very cool. And for those people watching at home, right now, BigCommerce has integration. If you happen to be on BigCommerce, you use a SaidCommerce, let's say, integration to syndicate your products onto Mercado Libre. You get on Mercado Libre, but there'll be an option for payment. And your payment has basically two options. One is you put your US bank account in there. Mercado Libre will take care of that. But what they're really doing is repatriating it through their bank connections in the US. Then that bank is passing it over to you, and everybody needs their fees. The other option is Payoneer. You can either use an existing Payoneer account, or you can check a box to essentially create a new Payoneer account. And that will allow you to do the virtual bank account solution that Alex has been talking about. That does save on FX. It saves probably on processing time as well. And it's just overall more convenient. Is that accurate, Alex? Have I covered that properly?
It is, absolutely. Yeah. And I think, real quick, not only do we have the payment solutions, but, if a seller ever does need capital to help grow their business or get into the international market, we're happy to, we obviously provide that. We have commercial debit cards as well that do cash back. So when you have that money in your accounts, you can use a debit card to spend on things like advertising and get 1.5% cash back on, et cetera. So not only do we have their send and receiving capabilities, we have a lot of other tools that can actually help the seller expand and kind of grow as well.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to put some of those links in the descriptions here so you can learn more about all the different things that Payoneer does. But again, what we're talking about here today is how does a merchant in the US process and repatriate their funds in the most effective way possible through solutions like Payoneer. Alex, again, thanks for breaking this down for us.
Thanks so much, Josh. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching another actionable video from the GrowBig initiative. Click on the video, subscribe, follow us so you can learn more about selling all across the globe and all across different channels. Let's grow big.